All right, so thank you for joining us here today. Joe, you are going to be speaking about what your topic is. Oh, I don't have your topic, actually. I'm assuming you're going to be talking about the marketplace of the future, though, since I can see your presentation.
Yes.
And Pathfind is a web design and digital marketing, or are you mostly focusing on web design?
Yes, mostly web design and development, and also graphic design.
Excellent. Please, can you begin your presentation? We would love to hear about it.
I'll take it away. Thank you so much, Corey. I'm a big fan of Stadio. I've had two third-year students this year doing their internship with me at my company, and I'm very impressed with the quality of work they delivered. So you train them well. And also, thank you for the great presentations, Gabrielle and Haley. You guys are a tough act to follow. So, my name is Joe Wagner, owner of Pathfind Media. And today I want to tell you about the opportunities available within the marketplace of the future, which is online, of course. According to research, the online marketplace will reach $6.5 trillion by 2023. The breakthrough in the online marketplace is it has made branding and marketing a lot cheaper than physical marketplaces, and you get a return on investment a whole lot quicker than physical marketplaces if you hire the right professionals. And one of the professionals needed is a designer and a photographer, and therefore I also want to give you some tips on how to become a better designer for this marketplace. So by way of introduction, I want to give you a background on my company. I founded Pathfind Media in the surfer town of Jeffreys Bay in 2015 in my garage, just when my first daughter was born. I called it Pathfind for several reasons, one of it being the significance of the algorithmic term pathfinding, which is plotting the best route between 2 points. It's a smart way to solve mazes. So virtually the very name Pathfind Media expresses innovation in the world of the web and design. And very aptly so, we were awarded by UK's Corporate Vision as the most innovative web design agency in the Western Cape. So I want to start my presentation with a brief history of the internet before we dive into our topic of the day. So let me just switch screens here. So in 1971, the first ever email was sent. Now, the internet was not yet invented. So this was sent over ARPANET. Then only 7 years later, the first ever spam email was sent. And it was an advertisement for a presentation by Digital Equipment Corporation for their DEC system products. Then in 1980, the Internet Protocol version 4 was invented and is still in use today. There's also version 6 at the moment. This is IP addresses. In 1983, the first domain name registry opened. In 1985, that's the year when I was born. And the first official commercial domain was registered for symbolics.com, a computer systems company. In 1989, the World Wide Web was officially founded, and the first coding language was invented, HTML, and we still use it every day to build websites. In 1991, the first website was actually built by the guy who found the internet, Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Then in 1995, a short while later, the first ever item was sold on eBay. It was a laser pointer, and it actually didn't even work. In 1998, Google was founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They were PhD students at Stanford University in California. A short while later, in 2005, they founded YouTube, and the first YouTube video saw the light of day. Fast forward to 2010, Bitcoin, the blockchain technology was introduced, and this guy, Haynes, he actually bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. So this is apparently a joke, and Haynes' $336 million pizzas are the punchline. In 2010, Finland makes internet a legal right. So if you're born in Finland, you have a legal right to have internet. And then in 2016, mobile web browsing overtakes desktop. So more people use the internet on mobile devices than on desktops. Okay, so I want to ask you, have you ever heard the phrase content is king? I'm sure you have. And in 1996, Bill Gates wrote an essay titled Content is King. That's where it stemmed from. He said, content is where I expect much of the real money will be made on the internet, just as it was in broadcasting. Thomas Friedman wrote in 2005 that the internet has the ability to create a level playing field for all participants where geographic distance become less relevant. Because it connects economic traders that would otherwise not be connected, you unlock economic wealth that otherwise would not exist. In other words, you literally create money out of nowhere. So from the first quintessential e-commerce marketplace, eBay, we fast forward through the big players like Amazon and through economy sharing marketplaces like Uber and Airbnb and labor marketplaces like Upwork, to the small business who sells whatever they've got online. So consider sales distribution channels for a moment. No serious business should only be selling via the traditional brick and mortar model. With e-commerce, you could sell anything imaginable, from physical products to digital downloads. If you don't manufacture your own products, you can set up delivery directly from the manufacturer to the retailer or the customer via drop shipping. If a business is based on an appointment or availability setup, online bookings on the website could greatly simplify this system for you. You can obviously imagine the design needed here, from the online store layout to advertising campaigns. As a success story, my team at Pathfind Media built an intuitive investment calculator for Fairtree, which suggests the best fund for you to invest in based on the questions you answer. So after using this tool, one investor put 10 million Rand into one of their funds, and a short while later, 5 more million Rand for his wife. And this just goes to show the reach of online marketplaces, because this happened while everyone at the Fairtree office was sleeping. Next, we have e-learning. From consultants to experts or universities can share knowledge online. There is asynchronous e-learning, where learners go through the learning material on their own, which can be pre-recorded lecture videos, text, or quizzes. And then synchronous e-learning, which is referred to as live online training in a virtual room. Then students from anywhere in the world participate, much like this webinar. Again, you can imagine the design needed for e-learning. There are big companies specializing only in e-learning development and design. On to events. We are social beings, and the social web has made that even more prominent. It's easy enough to meet up online and sell tickets for in-person concerts, functions, and sports fixtures, or virtual conferences. Many institutions or businesses could benefit from online meeting or ticketing technology. Think about churches, schools, NPOs, clubs, artists, restaurants, or anyone hosting any type of event. And hologram calls are not going to be a thing of science fiction for much longer. We're already at the place of virtual reality meetups. So I want to quickly show you a video by Mark Zuckerberg that was posted last year in the development of the metaverse.
Hey, and welcome to Connect. Today, we're going to talk about the metaverse, starting with the most important experience of all, connecting with people. Imagine you put on your glasses or headset and you're instantly in your home space. It has parts of your physical home recreated virtually. It has things that are only possible virtually. and it has an incredibly inspiring view of whatever you find most beautiful.
Hey, are you coming?
Yeah, just gotta find something to wear. All right, perfect. Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
What's up, Mark?
Whoa, we're floating in space? Who made this place? It's awesome.
Right? It's from a crater I met in LA.
This place is amazing.
Boz, is that you?
Of course it's me. You know I had to be the robot, man.
I thought I was supposed to be the robot.
Whoa.
I knew you were bluffing.
Hey, wait. Where is Naomi?
Let's call her.
Naomi.
Hey, should we deal you in?
Hey, sorry I'm running late, but you gotta see what we're checking out. There's an artist going around SoHo hiding AR pieces for people to find.
3D street art? That's cool.
Send that link over so we can all look at it. This is stunning.
Okay, that is.
It's awesome.
I love the movement.
Wait, it's disappearing.
This is amazing.
Hold on, I'll tip the artist and they'll extend it.
Wow. Privacy.
Okay, that's pretty inspiring. So finally, the Internet of Things is a new addition to this marketplace. It describes the network of physical objects or things that are embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies for the purpose of connecting and exchanging data with other devices and systems over the internet, hence the Internet of Things. These devices range from ordinary household objects to sophisticated industrial tools. With more than 7 billion connected IoT devices today, experts are expecting this number to grow to 22 billion by 2025. So as IoT becomes more widespread in the marketplace, companies are capitalizing on the tremendous business value it offers, like to create new efficiencies in manufacturing through machine monitoring and product quality monitoring, improve the tracking and ring fencing of physical assets, monitor human health analytics with wearable devices, and you can just see that the possibilities are endless. One of our clients, Gearbox Europlacer in Kenya, is a world-class electronics manufacturer of printed circuit board assemblies. So they help guide customers to develop ideas into intelligent electronic hardware solutions. So what I'm telling you today is to stimulate your mind to the opportunities out there for business and design. I'm speaking to the entrepreneur who wants to try his hand at a side hustle for a passive income, or go all in with a big idea. The most interesting fact is that anyone can be the owner of an online store with only a little money. The online marketplace is easy to manage once it is set up professionally. I'm also speaking to the sidekick designers and photographers who don't necessarily want to take the risk of a startup or pursue a freelance career, but rather work alongside an entrepreneur and make their dream come to life. Because all of this innovation needs what we at Pathfind Media call creative communication through intelligent design. The landscape of design has been evolving in dimension and platform for years. There are so many new interfaces to be made visually appealing, and that's where you come in. Now, did you know that the top 10 professional golfers in the world make on average 28 million US dollars a year in prize money and commercial endorsements? Do you know what the top 10 amateur golfers make? Nothing. Now, what's the difference in strokes in an 18-hole game between the top 10 pro golfers and the top 10 amateur golfers? Only 2. That's 14 million US dollar per stroke. But do you know how hard it is to consistently shave 2 strokes off your game? It's very, very hard. But that's what it takes to go from a no money player to a big money player. The only way to knock off those 2 strokes is to understand the hidden elements of the game. In golf, it's the grip, the stance, the swing, and you need to go through unending practice, focus, and discipline. And the same is true for design and photography. Anyone can use Canva to make a logo, or pick up a DSLR camera and take a decent shot on auto. But professionals have an edge. And that's why they get paid the big bucks. So if you really want to become professional, a professional entrepreneur, designer, or photographer, here are 5 tips to improve yourself. Number 1, the fundamentals are still fundamental. Technology has not changed that. The principles of graphic design, like layout, color, typography, the way things are composed, and the things we have to work with in terms of imagery, those things have not changed. And the theory that underpins great work still holds true, whether you are designing an online store, a company profile, or an app. Once you learn the fundamentals, you begin to see it everywhere. For example, if you know about proper kerning, you get that sort of obsession and you won't buy a t-shirt if the kerning is not right. Good for you. Have some standards. Number 2, although the tools have improved and they've made a lot of things easier to do, and the AI tools that are coming in, like in the Adobe software, make things even quicker in Photoshop, the reality is you still need to know the tools of your trade. You need to be able to execute tasks quickly. I can do a lot of things that a carpenter can do. I put up shelves at my house, I built a go-kart for my kids, but they can do it a lot better and a lot more skillfully and a lot neater and a lot quicker because they know the tool well. They're well practiced and they're able to execute in a way that it's supposed to be done. So you must be able to do the same when you get briefed by a client to implement a future marketplace idea. Number 3, deliberate practice. You can't become a great designer just by having somebody tell you what to do. Design isn't paint by numbers. There are decisions to be made. There's space for creativity. To become a better designer by deliberate practice, which means choosing something that you want to improve on and practicing in a structured way. So just working at your job isn't necessarily deliberate practice. And those years will only add up to practice when you are really applying yourself to improving in a specific area. So give yourself some challenges to practice and get better at a specific thing. And this is especially important when you're dabbling with the marketplace of the future, because it's very well might be new territory for you. My career didn't exist when I went to school. Number 4 is expert feedback. And this is, I think, the best reason to go to a formal design school like Stadio, because there are experts there who will give you, who will review your work and give you feedback to help you see how it can be improved. Self-taught, as can only go so far without feedback. So the quickest way to become a better designer is to work under a brilliant art director or mentor in the workspace. So try to put yourself in that sort of environment where you can learn. Maybe that's a good suggestion for entering the marketplace before you enter a freelance career. Also get cultural relevant feedback. You might be working with international clients, and what is working in South Africa could be uncool in the Middle East. We've got a branch in the UK, and the design on that side is radically different from the designs in South Africa. And finally, find relevant experience. It's not simply how long you've been doing something, but it's what you've been doing during that time. It's a relevant experience that could be within a particular industry, or it could be within a particular tool, style, or approach. But you want to think about where you want to be and what you want your career to look like 5 years from now, and then seek out the experience that is going to be relevant to what you want to step into. So in summary, think about online marketplace opportunities like e-commerce, e-learning, events, and IoT. Be a pro golfer in the context of design for the future marketplace by knowing the principles, learning the tools, engaging in deliberate practice, getting expert feedback, and relevant experience. And then keep cycling through these things. It's not something we do 1 year after design school, but it's something that you continue to do if you want to move ahead in your career. And then as a final word of advice, remember, with all technological advances, people still buy from people. Some things will never change. And relationship marketing and ethical business are still trump tech. So stay true to your moral compass. Like the wise King Solomon said, do not overwork to be rich, because of your own understanding cease. Will you set your eyes on that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle towards heaven. I'm Joe Wagner, founder of PathfindMedia.com. Until next time, happy designing. Thanks, Corey.
Thank you so much, Joe. What a fantastic presentation. I really, really enjoy the fact that we have so many of the same themes from our speakers today. I hope this was super valuable for all of our students. You know, working hard, knowing the basics, and getting yourself out there. And then, of course, I love what you added of also being true to yourself and being true to your ethics and morals. I think as creatives, we tend to be true to our creative vision to an extent, and then we get worried about the financials, and then we tend to compromise, and we shouldn't compromise on our vision or on our personal ethics. So thank you so much for that. I don't see any questions in the chat. If you guys have any questions, please pop them in, and I'll give you guys a few minutes. Okay, we've got one from Mr. Kunene. That's one of our fellow lecturers here. He says, looking back about 10 years ago, what are some of the things you like, such as skills or tricks that you wish you could have known or learned? So if you could perhaps step back in time and give some advice to yourself from 10 years ago, what are the things that you would say to yourself?
Sure. I think one of the things that I learned a little bit later was professional communication and client briefing. You know, that's something that is very important, you know, is educating clients as to what is possible, and also advising them. You know, the guy that said a client is always right was a client. You know, sometimes clients don't know what they don't know, and you need to educate them along the way. So I think I would have exposed myself to a work environment. So I started my company basically, you know, straight after not university. I worked a little bit, but I worked in a different industry. So when I transitioned into the marketing industry and the web design industry, I started with my own company straight away. So I think I would have worked for somebody before I started my own company, because that way I would have picked up and gleaned a lot more from a senior developer or a you know, businessman in terms of how to work with clients.
That's great advice. We've got another question that says, do you recommend learning to create a website from scratch or utilizing platforms such as WordPress?
I would not recommend using something like WordPress unless you really don't have a big budget. So we develop on a platform called Webflow, which is similar to WordPress, but it is a SaaS product. So I would rather say go with SaaS products because it's a lot more reliable than open source, such as WordPress. So you know, you got a better chance that your website won't be hacked or slow. Yeah, those are, yeah, there are many out there. There's Squarespace, there's Wix, you know, so yeah, you can use one of them, but I wouldn't recommend using one of the open source platforms.
Okay, we've got another question. You mentioned earlier on that your company, congratulations, by the way, has been noted as one of the most innovative companies in the Western Cape. But Caitlin would ask, what is it that you say about your company, Pathfind Media, that stands out from other companies similar in the field? So how did you kind of earn your place?
Yeah, so that there was a couple of parameters in that competition. They looked at like client satisfaction, they looked at your work, they looked at your pricing and things like that. I think what we pride ourselves on is the fact that we, these 5 tips that I've given in terms of design is we really live this, so we constantly out to improve ourselves, workflow systems internally, and also the technology out there in terms of, tools to build websites, to build apps, and things like that. So we're trying to stay on the cutting edge of what's available. Yeah.
So you practice what you preach then. Good to hear. And then we have another question that says, how do you go about getting the skills to enter the web industry? And this is coming from a design student who maybe they're looking to transition into the web industry.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, that luckily, that e-learning part that I was mentioning is not only if you want to develop e-learning courses, but also to learn, so there's so many opportunity. I did a 10-week course through Get Smarter in web design, so there's structured. I would definitely say do a structured course if you can. And a little bit of a longer one than just your Udemy 10-hour ones that you get, and then learn the basics first before going further, and then try out the internship. Apply for at a company to just job shadow. Maybe you'll get a small salary, or even if you don't, you'll just pick up a lot quicker than trying to go on the self-taught route.
Thank you. It's a very valuable answer. Okay, we've got just a few more questions. Let's see. There's another student that asks, when it comes to work that you're not super passionate about, how do you get yourself to put in the same amount of effort that you would for something that you are passionate about?
I'd probably assign it to somebody else in the team. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, I think there's one thing we call it outcome-based visioneering. So you try to envision what this would do, what this would mean for the client, and that kind of stimulates you and it motivates you. And yeah, we are pretty how can I say, particular in terms of the clients that we onboard, so that we've got a sense of a criteria. So yeah, you should also be wise, as to not take on projects that it's really going to be brain dead or going to, drain the life out of you. Yeah, that's how I'd answer that.
Good answer. Okay, and thank you. Last question. Caitlin wants to know, what is the biggest change that you've seen in the industry within the past year?
The biggest change. Okay, so there's 2 streams of that. I think we actually did a event earlier in this year talking about design trends and development trends, because there's like 2 streams of that. So in terms of design trends, there's obviously a lot more movement coming in. Things don't stand still anymore. There's from micro animation on websites, to video playing and GIFs and Lottie files and things like that. So that's, I think, a big shift in design in terms of web. And then in terms of development, I think it's the whole artificial intelligence thing. Chatbots that's coming up, voice search, and things like that, is becoming a lot more prominent, probably more so in the United States and the first world countries. But we're slow to pick up, but it'll definitely flow over to us. And then maybe just one last thing, I think COVID, that's not the last year, but the last 2 years has really fast-tracked the e-commerce market with at least 5 years. We had 5 years of where we would have been had it not been for COVID. So the uptake of buying online is definitely easier. People don't hesitate anymore. It's becoming everyday kind of way of shopping.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're a little bit over time, so I'm going to, oh, sorry. Okay, there's one last question, which I think is a very quick one. So if you could answer this for me. What is the preferred development language that you use at Pathfind?
So we only develop in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then when it comes to web apps, or progressive web apps, we use Deluge. So it's a tool called Zoho Creator, which is pretty cool. It's called a low-code platform. So yeah, and then for any kind of data analytics and things like that, we've got a partner that does that in Python or in PHP.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our speakers today. Thank you, Joe and Haley and Gabrielle. I think this was a fantastic presentation today. We had some really nice industry specific for each of our different programs, but we also had a lot of general overlap between all of them. And I hope that that helps all of you students to see the different ways that our fields work together. That is the goal of School of Media and Design, is to continue being working together towards the future. And I hope this all promotes your excitement and your passion to pursue your careers. So thank you so much on behalf of Stadio and the School of Media and Design. And have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Bye.